Hey, what is going on, everybody? Boilon here, back for another video on Marvel Strike Force. And in today's video, we'll talk a little bit about the upcoming War Machine event costume event that's going to be coming. But we're here to be talking about the Invasion of the Gods, which is going to be the first February month long of the first event for the February month long event, which is going to help you get some shards towards Hercules, among other things. And in this video, we're obviously going to be talking about everything that you need to do to get through this event. So if you're ready to go, everybody, let's boil this down. Now, I just want to start doubling back to the blog post from Friday where they talk about the War Machine suit upgrade over here. So they don't have a table for this. However, it seems like it's almost like a giveaway costume. That's what it sounds like. Unless it's super, super hard, but all you have to do is spend your Liberty Showcase energy, which is also going to be starting on February the 4th on Tuesday, which is when this milestone is kicking off. It's also when the web milestone is kicking off. So despite the main event requiring the web milestone, you can't score for the web milestone until Tuesday. The main event, though, Invasion of the Gods, does start on Monday. So there's a bit of a disconnect there in terms of that. Why they couldn't both be launching on Monday, I have no idea. Ask Scopely. This is going to be your event calendar for the next 4 weeks. One thing to note is that we're on Invasion of the Gods this week. In Love and War is going to be an 8-day event. There must be some sort of February American holiday that I'm unaware of. And then Life and Liberty is only, I think it's 6 days because they have to compensate for that and they go back to the Monday again. So this is going to be Tuesday to Monday. And then we have And Justice for All. Looks like a Falcon suit. Who knows what characters on which? I don't know the release order of the characters beyond that Peggy Carter is going to be on Tuesday. That's probably why I guess they decided to. Again, I don't know why Peggy couldn't have been on Monday, but that's probably why all the showcase stuff is starting on Tuesday, because Peggy Carter is being released on that day as well. Now, as far as what is available in the February month-long event, it is Hercules shards up for grabs over here. So you can see on the right-hand side, all the shards for Hercules, and it is 100 shards going all the way down. And there is G19 gear. It's funny because the data mine suggested that it would be G18 Mystic gear. And it looks like there's 5 pieces. So it looks like 1 piece for each stat. It looked like, so damn it, all the main pieces there. There's 5 of them. And it requires 1 million points instead of 800,000. Normally that's what it requires there. So it is a 28-day strict event. And the only disappointment that I have is that they don't seem to be including purple ISOs, crystals or ions or any purple ISO related stuff in the month long, but I guess we're not there yet, or maybe it'll never actually appear because some of that does actually show up in the meta events, the weekly meta events. So, and of course there is going to be a leaderboard, but none of this is consequential. This is all pretty garbage stuff. It's the same month long leaderboard stuff that we already have. It's nothing really to. Just wanted to point out that they haven't really changed this in some time. They finally gave us some G19 gear pieces on the monthly, but the leaderboards haven't really changed at all, so that's a little bit disappointing there too. And before we get into the main event, I do want to talk about the In the Spotlight, right? So the raid event milestone that we have ongoing right now. And just as a reminder, if you're someone who has saved your raid keys on Sunday, where's mine? I already finished. Oh, there we go. So if you save your Sunday raid keys, you can actually, it's a lot easier for you to get all the way to the milestone 20 completion. So I can do this with 1 day to spare. It's significantly easier than like basically doing 100% on D2, which is what you would have to do in order to clear this in 6 days. So if you're someone who's you're not able to do that, doing 7 runs in 6 days on D1 is also viable here for the point scores to get the 800,000 ions, which is quite significant, right? This last milestone is pretty significant, and this is going to be running for one more time, it seems. Starting next week is going to be the last one. But the thing that I'm concerned about is that the final milestone is now been reduced to 1 million. And the previous one this week was 1.6 million. So they're really condensing this milestone, and I'm not really sure what that means. Now, the points is 230,000 for the raid battles. This was the old one, 230, and then 60,000 for Jean Grey. It seems to be the same thing as well for this too. So what that suggests to me is either they screwed up, because it's still the 6-day duration, or it's the milestone points that you get per node is highly condensed. Now, I guess the other thing is maybe they're super generous and maybe they're just going to let everyone milestone 20 it. But I have a feeling that something's going to change, and it would have to be the milestone points on the nodes. So we'll have to take a look on that when it goes live on Monday. Just keep an eye out for that. This could be just a giant mistake, but I don't know why they would make all of those adjustments from the last few weeks. I think this is the last version of that Alliance milestone, though, so keep that in mind. That's all that changed, really. I mean, they added the Medals of Honor. That's the new currency, obviously, for the February month long. But other than that, they've really scaled back the points on that. So we'll have to see how that plays it out on Monday. So that is that. Let's go on over to the math for this week's event. Switch scenes here. Let's go back in. So we have Invasion of the Gods. This is a 7-day event that requires spending campaign energy, plus raids with bonuses with Jean Grey and Hercules, depending on your star levels, and the Liberty Showcase, which is going to come later on the web milestone. Actually, I might as well just point that out right now. It's pretty easy. So this one requires 20,000 points, or you get 10. It's the same 10 to 1, the exchange rate, like all the other web milestones have been late for the last month. But it is a 6-day event, so keep that in mind. It doesn't start until Tuesday. It is pretty easy to clear, though, as you can see down here. Well, we'll get there. But basically, you only need to do 3 extra refreshes while it's live. So that's like 150 cores total over the 6 days, assuming you get all of your energy spent. Now, it does require 335,000 points for this event. The event item is at 111,000, which is milestone 14. I started adding this in now just so we can kind of keep track of weekly how much purple ions we're getting from events. But there's going to be 280,000 reasonable purple ions. So this is everything from the event item and before that you'll be able to collect. So, it's a little bit, right? It's adding on to your weekly gain. And I just kind of want to start tracking this a little bit in terms of like, there has been a bit of discussion about whether or not they're providing enough purple ISO and ions for us. So I'm going to try and keep track of that. The free claims, I'm going to assume that it's going to be a 500 free claim, but the fragments are a 2-to-1 ratio, kind of like this week's was with the Kiln Tower fragments. So if that's the case, then 500 fragments would actually be 1,000 points daily. So it could be 7,000. So we'll see about that. Total XP, same as usual. So 10,000 total, but realistically, you're probably getting 5,000 a week. And if you watch my video from Friday, then you'll know that this has really made a pretty big difference when it comes to your XP gain in general, and why you don't need to core as much in order to get to 105 within the time frame of the race to 105. You're going to score by getting Olympian orb fragments by spending campaign energy at a 2-to-1. Well, so the fragments are worth 2-to-1. How many fragments you get from the energy? We'll take a look down below. My guesses for this one. Raid with Uncanny Avengers, 5,000 points. You just have to do like one full Uncanny Avenger attack. If you do not have enough to do Spotlight Raid, what you could do is try to include some of them into your Mutant Orchestra Raid, something like that. You just need to do it 5 times or 5 characters total in 7 days, right? Should be more than reasonable. Just sub like 1 or 2 characters out on Orchestra Raid or something if you don't have the full 5, if you don't have Hercules unlocked yet. If you do have any of them at 5 or higher yellow stars, you will get some bonus points here, but that's not really free to play as such. Jeez. Yeah, I mean, I actually do have a 5 yellow Jean Grey, but that's because I got a jackpot on one of the times, so there you go. Campaign energy, this is the same as usual. We got about 1,100 energy if you're doing 200 cores daily. Now, I think this is going to be a 4-to-1 fragment ratio, which is interesting because you're taking the 4-to-1 and then you're multiplying this by 2. So in a way, it's kind of like 8-to-1 in the sense, but you're only getting a 4-to-1 on the ratio side. On the fragment side of things, the points are more like the 8-to-1. And the reason is because when you look at the reasonable points total, if I were to downgrade this to 3-to-1 on the fragments, you would lose a significant chunk of points to the point where you wouldn't get the event item. So I think this is like the sweet spot where they want you to get to. So this is why I'm guessing 4-to-1. Also, it's a number that they've used quite a few times before for these kinds of events. So that's about 62,000 points from the campaign energy side of things. This is pretty important. So try to maintain the 200 cores daily on this if you care about, clearing the milestones in this event. So if we add up everything in the light blue, that's going to be that 62K, this 25K over here, this 30K from the web milestone, and 7K from the free claims. That gives us a grand total of 124,000 points. Now that gets us to milestone 14 and a half. So where does that get us on the board? I believe it's this one here. Let's go into full screen mode once. Oh, no, that's the Alliance event. This one here. So you can see on the right-hand side, some of the stuff that's up for grabs. Obviously, there's going to be the purple ISO, right? There's I doubt it, but maybe you might be able to get some of the 3 million gold here. That's not even the gold that, it's funny because they add this stuff in here, but 3 million gold's like not a lot anymore. I just have to say the 2000 XP is probably a little bit better, but I'm not sure if we'll actually get there or not. So basically, it's everything from Zeus's Thunderbolt over here up. Unfortunately, there's no direct Hercules shards on this, but in terms of like how many points that you're going to get from this event, we do need to talk about that here because I did have it written down. It's about 120,000 points just from Invasion of the Gods. So if we go back to the February, this one here, that'll give us to how many shards total? This one here, it's like 5, 10, 15, 20 Hercules shards. So it's not a significant amount of points in this first week. So it depends on how close you are to unlocking Hercules. So you should be able to get an additional 20 shards on top of the path orbs and all that stuff that you're getting this week. But do keep that in mind. So there's not a, honestly, there's not a whole lot in this event. So if you, but you heard what if you watch my video on Friday, like I don't push heavily on events in general anymore until they offer something more on leaderboards, which this event is not a leaderboard. So there's not a huge amount of reason. They kind of make you think that you do need to do this stuff for the event item, for the Medals of Honor. But if you're in a situation where you don't need a lot of, because like, what's down here is like the G19 crafted gear, which is nice, right? But like if you're in a position where you really don't need this stuff, then you don't need to blow cores for these events if you don't want to. I'm just obviously giving you the option to do that. If you want to complete these events, if you're a newer mid-game player, you should try and do all of these things because you need these kind of things. But for me at the end game, honestly, a lot of this stuff doesn't even really bring a significant amount of value to me anymore. It's strange. It's a really weird space. It's a really weird spot that this game is in right now. So let's go back to my final notes here. And the event's not a leaderboard. The milestone goals seem pretty easy to reach as well. It's mostly a campaign energy spending event. I wouldn't really bother to core that much. So don't go above 200 cores daily. I really wouldn't do that. It's just not worth it. There's a decent amount of purple ions, if you still need to do that for Odin or Spotlight 2 and upgrade some of your characters. And I'm going to keep track of that in the weeks to come to see whether or not it goes up or if it goes down or all that kind of stuff there. But otherwise, there's not really that much exciting going on in this first week of February's events. Not sure what I have else to say. Otherwise, let me know what your thoughts are in the comments down below. Let me know what your plan is for coring. Again, like we're on our way to 105, but if you watch my Friday video, like there's no huge rush here that all of us should be able to get to that within the time frame. So it's not super exciting that you need to like go and blow a ton of your cores. The race to 105, it's only been like 10 days already, maybe 12 days. And, I've managed to get level 102. Now, keep in mind that I did have a lot of hoarding, but a lot of people are already at 101. And so after 12 days, you're definitely going to get to 105 within 69 days total. No problem. So don't worry about that. Don't stress out about these events. Anyways, that's it for now, everyone. Enjoy the rest of your weekend. And of course, until next time, stay safe and healthy. And I'll see you all later. Boilon, signing out.